Hi, everyone. My name is Meredith, and I'd like to welcome you to the Keep It Pro training call, brought to you by Networking Wisdom each and every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific for the past 8 years. This call is brought to you free of charge every week with the intention to teach you skills and strategies that will get you to success, whether in your business or in your personal life. The host and creator of this call is Mr. Romacio Fulcher. Romacio is an internationally recognized mentor, trainer, and entrepreneur. Although Romacio has had extreme success in the network marketing industry, doing over $2 billion in sales with a distribution team of over 750,000 people worldwide, 3 years ago, he decided to shift gears into the world of international commodities, trade, and finance. Having jumped into this unknown territory, Romacio turned to God for guidance more than ever, dedicating many hours to reading and listening to the Word of God. Over the last several years, he has gone through many ups and downs as he has had to navigate and learn a new trade. As he kept his faith and belief strong, miracles began to take place, helping him through his trials and tribulations. The Word held him steadfast, allowing him to come out on top once again. Having said that, one of his true loves is to teach the Word of God in a simplistic way, always drawing down from his own personal experiences. Every call is unique, and he is led by God when deciding on the topic for each week. God told him to start this call 8 years ago, and because Romacio has been so obedient, God continues to use him as a vessel to teach his word. I recommend that you go somewhere quiet where you can focus on this call, because I know what you hear today is going to be profound. Without further ado, let me get out of the way and introduce your Marketplace Minister, Mr. Romacio Fulcher. Are you there?
Absolutely, I'm here. Thank you, Meredith. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Once again, I want to welcome everyone on to today's Sunday Keep It Pro training call, guys. If you don't know, we've been doing this call for over 8 years. This is the place to be on Sundays, 4 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern. And for all of my people that are international, not to worry. We always upload this call to our YouTube channel, which is Romacio Fulcher. As soon as the call is over, it's always uploaded. You can download it, and you can re-listen to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you. I appreciate all of the fanfare and the love that I received this past week from the transformations that some of you are experiencing, and just the positive energy that you sent me on social media and so forth. I just want to say I appreciate you guys. It's those types of compliments and those types of testimonies that is what keeps us going. We don't do this platform for fanfare. 8 years ago, I started this to simply be effective. But it's certainly nice to know the power that happens just by being obedient. It's certainly nice to know the power that happens, the power of transformation that happens just by simply being obedient. In other words, let me ask you a question before we dive into today's actual topic, which I can't wait to get to, by the way. But let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed the effects that happen when you were obedient to an instruction that was given to you? Have you ever noticed the effects that happen to you from simply being obedient? Do me a favor. I want to take 15 seconds right now, and I want you to think of a time, the last time, that is, that you were obedient. You heard the whisper. You heard the whisper inside of you. You followed the instruction, and there was positive impact and positive effects. Take a minute really quickly. Just jot that down really quickly. We're going to go somewhere with that. Just take a quick second. Take a quick second. When was the last time that you noticed the positive impact and effects from you being obedient? Some of you may say, what is he talking about? I'm talking about, when was the last time you heard a little whisper inside of you? Do this, go there, don't do that, start this, get rid of that. That little bitty whisper, we call it the Holy Spirit. Some of you might call it intuition. I beg to differ with that. But when's the last time you've heard that little bitty voice inside of you. You followed it, and the impact was positive. The effects were positive. The point I'm mentioning, ladies and gentlemen, is I think a lot of times we underestimate the power of our obedience. I know at least I can speak for myself. We underestimate the power of our obedience. You know, a lot of times, and I want to say this before we dive into the topic, the way God works is, well, at least I can tell you from my experience, I'm 46 years old, and I can't tell you that I know everything about God and his principles. I'm constantly a work in progress. I'm always learning. But I can share with you some of the information that I've learned thus far as a way of helping all of us. And one of the things I can tell you is God is very big on giving people a vision. He's very big on vision. But God is very short on details. I'm going to say that again. He's very big on vision, but very short on details. Very big on vision, if you're writing it down, but God is very short on details. And what I've learned in my life is that the reason for that is he wants to see, will you trust him? Will you obey? Will you be obedient? Because, see, God is not going to give you the end from the beginning with all the details at once. And what I have learned why God is not going to do that, because if he does that, then you won't need to trust him. And what God is wanting more than anything, he's wanting commune. He's wanting a relationship with us. He's wanting a conversation. He's wanting a dance with us, right? A relationship. He's wanting intimacy. You can't be intimate unless you get close. You can't get close unless you spend time. I'm going to say it again. God is wanting intimacy between himself and all of his children, which includes you and I. And so what I have learned, in short, is that the reason why God doesn't give you all of the details when you're at the beginning of a thing or when you're at the shores of life is because he wants you to trust him step by step. And see, here's the challenge with that. Our flesh says to us, well, I want to understand everything. I need to understand every single detail. I mean, I know I've said that many times. I need to understand where we're going. I need to understand what we're doing. I need to understand what the plan is, right? And that's the nature of our humanity. We want control. All of us, every single one of you listening, including myself, we want to feel as though we have control. I want to understand this thing. I want to know where we're going. I mean, and so don't feel bad. That's something that's normal. But when we're talking about living a life of faith, and when we're talking about this is the year of intentional faith, you've got to understand how God works. You got to learn how God works. He doesn't get you can look at all of the prophets in the Bible. There was only one person that knew. There was only one person that knew that he was born and he was going to die one day, and that's Jesus Christ. He knew that he was coming to set an example, and he knew that he was going to have to die one day for all of us. That's the only person that knew, you can say, everything, basically. That's the only person. Every single one of us, we don't know, but we all want to know all of the details. But the way God works, his number one goal with us, number one, is to increase our faith in him. If you can learn that, the power of this statement that I'm giving you is because, see, many times when God gives us instructions, sometimes they don't make sense because we don't have the whole story. Well, God, I don't understand. Why do you want me to do that? What does that have to do with this? But see, God, he has a plan. And what he's trying to discover with you, can he trust you? See, in order to be used by God, he's got to be able to trust you. And that's where this word obedience is so important. And it's not something I've mastered, by the way. So please don't listen to me like I'm a know-it-all and I've got it all figured out. I'm telling you on this call, I don't. I'm a work in progress just like you. But what I'm learning is I'm learning the power of obedience. How my obedience, oftentimes the impact is much greater than I ever anticipated. Say that again. Your obedience oftentimes is much larger. It's much bigger, much greater than what you thought it was going to be. Because, see, you look at things as 1 + 1 = 2. If I do that, then this is probably what's going to happen. But God doesn't look at things numerically the way that we do. 1 + 1 = 2. You got to remember, God is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. So therefore, one simple act of obedience that you do can echo throughout eternity. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's not just good rhetoric. That doesn't just sound good. Let me show you what I mean. One act of obedience can echo in eternity. You know, if we look at stories in the Bible and we look at different things that happened, had it not been for Abraham's obedience, many of us wouldn't be here today. So again, obedience is a big deal. It's a big deal to God. It's a signal that it's a signal that is sent to God saying, hey, he can trust us. He can trust us. And see, a lot of the times we get frustrated when we haven't heard from God or we're not hearing from God of what our next is, next instruction, next step. And oftentimes what I'm learning is God ain't going to tell you nothing else until you go back and do the last thing he told you to do. I'm going to say that again, just for all you people that are listening. Sometimes we get frustrated. All right, well, God, if you know everything and you really care for me and you got my back, well, you know I'm in this jam and I need some instructions. I need you to help me. I need you to tell me what to do. I need you to give me a direction or tell me what's in my best interest, right? You told me to come to you, right? Yes. But sometimes God won't say anything at all. I mean, yes, you can always open your Bible and everything that's there is God's words. Absolutely. It's God talking to you. But sometimes you're looking for that Rhema word, which means a right now word. Rhema means right now. I need to know right this second, what am I supposed to do? I need you right now, Lord, right? And sometimes you don't hear anything. And I'm saying to you that sometimes that's because God is saying, hey, listen, go back and finish the last thing I told you to do. And then I'll give you more. So what I'm trying to tie the beginning of our call today to is 8 years ago, I was told to go start a call and to be able to share with you many of the things that was being shared with me. And I had no idea that we would be doing this call 8 years later. I had no idea that people would join this line that I don't even know their names. I don't know where they live. I don't know what they do. And I couldn't spot them in a one-man lineup. But they've been impacted from something that was said on this call. I never knew that was going to be the impact. I never knew that. And the point I'm making to you, I'm saying our obedience can echo throughout eternity. You don't understand why God is telling you to go talk to that man, go talk to that lady, do this, do that, don't do it. You don't know the full story, but my question to you today, will you trust God? He's a great father. He wants the best for you in every area of our lives, every area. He wants the best. He understands all of your proclivities. He understands your shortcomings. He understands your struggles. You cannot fool God. Do not try and play God. He knows what's going on. So now what I want to do, guys, is I want to move into today's topic, which I'm super excited to get to. And the topic today, guys, as you know, the year of 2024, this is the year of intentional faith and healthy habits. But the theme of today's call, the theme of today's call, baby, is we're talking about big steps. This is the year of big steps. This is the year of big steps. And I want to make sure each and every single one of you can take this theme today and you can relate it to your life and your personal situation. I want to talk to you first of all about your health. We're going to go through every sector of life here, and I'm going to ask you a question. Are you ready to take big steps with your health? Have you come to the realization that your health is truly your wealth? Are you at the place where you understand that all the ambition that's inside of you, all of the goals to be a great parent or to be a great man or woman or a great wife or a great husband or a great philanthropist or a great at your job or your business, all the greatness that's inside of you, have you come to the resolve that if you don't have no health, I'm sorry, you ain't going nowhere? Look, I know you came from a background of eating greasy food. I know, you don't have, the best, you don't have a lot of money and you grew up with, drinking sugar all day and this and that. I know we all have a background. But the number one thing God gave us all, the greatest gift of all that God gave us was the gift of choice, was free choice. Know that we have habits and sometimes it's hard to break a habit. Look, come on, man, I got my own habits I'm trying to break, right? But listen to me. Let me give you the most powerful force inside of all human beings. It's the power to decide. It's the power to make a decision. And I am telling you that this is the year of big steps, not little steps, big steps. Are you at the place where you are ready to make big steps with your health? Not little steps. We're talking about big steps. Bold proclamations. Are you at that point where you are ready to make big steps with your health? Now, to each of you, that will mean something different. Some of you, I know that you are very serious about looking at your numbers, all your health numbers, your A1C numbers, and, some of you are big at looking at your cholesterol levels and looking at your weight, and some of you are big at looking at this and looking at that, and you're looking at those numbers are indicators. Like when you drive a car, right? You look at your gas, meter, and you look at your oil meter, and it lets you know those are indicators of what's going on with your engine. Some of you are looking at your own version of indicators. And I'm asking you, are you at the point right now where you are ready to take big steps regarding your health? That's a question that I'm asking each of you that are listening, both live and those of you that are listening to the replay. Listen, I'm going to give you some advice. I know what it's like to be burdened with life, with stress, and with all the ambition and all the goals and all the purpose and all the stuff. You want to be a great man. You want to be a great woman. You want to make a name for yourself. You want to do extremely well and have good success in life. I know about all of those feelings. And I want you to understand that I know what it's like to fall off the wagon with your health, something that you know is a priority to you, but yet and still something gets the best of you to make bad choices with your health. I can relate. Now, some of you may be on the call and say, well, that's a shame. But listen, hush your mouth. Be quiet. You shouldn't be trying to judge nobody about nothing, okay? So just zip your mouth and listen in, okay? Pay attention to the story. I'm telling you that I know what it's like to literally not do something that I know I should be doing, or let something fall by the wayside. We're talking about health, that I shouldn't let fall. I know what that's like. But in the same breath, even though I know what that's like, I also know that the most powerful force that I possess is the ability to make a decision. To make a decision. To make a decision. Write it down. To make a decision. To make a decision. And I want to talk to you for the next 5 minutes about making decisions, because this is the year of big steps. I want to really, really make sure that I really get you to understand this point I'm making to you today. A lot of people that would listen to this call at this point in time, you know, they would say, he's right. Health is important. I do need to do something about that. I've been saying I was going to do something about that for a while. And I do need to make some change, whether I'm old, middle-aged, or young. I need to do something about my own health situation. Like, I'm quite sure over 98, 99% of people that would listen to this call would agree, oh, yeah, you're right. That is important. I need to take better care of myself. They would say that. I'm sure they would. And I want to give you today some ammunition. I want to give you guys some ammunition that will help you in a major way on how to make better decisions. The number one thing that most people don't know how to do is get leverage over themselves. The number one thing, write that down, that most people don't know how to do is they do not know how to get leverage over themselves. They don't know how to do it. And I want to explain deeper so what that means when I say get leverage. Most people do not know how to make themselves move. And as long as you don't know how to get leverage over yourself, you will sit there and perseverate, and you'll think and think and think and think and think, but you'll never move because you have not discovered how to get leverage over yourself. Write that down. That is very profound. Some of you are going to understand that right now, while others of you, you won't understand that for maybe a week or a month from now on what I just said. Write it down. Until you learn how to get leverage over yourself, it doesn't matter how right I am. It doesn't matter how good it sounds. It doesn't matter how true it is. Nothing is going to change for you until you learn how to get leverage over you. In other words, how to get you to move. And that's one of the things I must say that I do love about myself. Because just like I, fell off the wagon, let's just say, wrong eating habits, not, slacking off and working out, just, doing the things I did for my health to kind of, decline for a season. I also know how to make a decision to get me to move, to make it top priority like it ought to be. I know how to get leverage over me to make me to move. And I don't want to get into all of those details, but what the picture I'm trying to paint for you listening is you have to learn how to get leverage over you to move. Each one of us are the same but different. In other words, we're the same because we're all human. We all got blood going through our body. We all got a heartbeat, etc. But we're different in that what it takes for me to move may be something different that it takes for you to move. But I can tell you, most people's biggest problem is they do not know how to get leverage over themselves to move. And as a result, even though this is an important topic, our health, it continues to decline because they just don't know how to get leverage over themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a big conversation. Although we're starting with just talking about big steps, you taking big steps in the health arena of your life. Now, if you're already listening to me and you're sitting there thinking, Romacio, my health is already a priority. I have a good routine. I have a good habit. Congratulations to you. Put a check in the box of the area of health and wellness. Congratulations to you. Way to go. Way to be a pillar of light. Way to be an example out there in the community wherever you live. Awesome. Congratulations. Let's go to the next sector. This is the year of big steps. This is the year of big steps. Let's talk about spirituality. Just for a second, we're not going to be here too long, but are you tired of having a baby relationship with God? Or what do I mean by a baby relationship? Well, you say your grace, before you eat your food. You tell God, thank you for waking you up in the morning. You tell God to protect you and your family. These are all very important things you should do. And, every time you look at a dollar bill, it says, in God we trust on it. And, you run around and you tell people that, yes, I do believe in God. I do believe in God. But as it comes down, here we go. Get ready. But as it relates to your finances, God is not involved in that. As it relates to your relationship, God is not involved in that. As it relates to your choices, should I not? God is not involved in that. As it relates to your destiny and your purpose, you've never talked about God you've never spoke to God about that. As it relates to learning God's language in terms of what is this thing about the Holy Spirit? What's all that about? Is it really that serious? Do I really need to learn this thing about speaking in tongues? Is that important? Okay. You don't know anything about that. Okay. As it relates to opening your mouth and, giving God praise verbally, you can't praise God quietly. No, you see, I'm an introverted person. I don't really do a lot of outward talking, says you. See, you're a little ignorant about that. Okay. As it relates to understanding God's principles about success and going to the next level in your life, you've never, ever really talked to God about that. You don't really understand what he really has planned for you in the grand scheme of things. My point I'm saying to you, are you ready to take big steps in your faith? One of the things I love about faith and I love about God is that wherever you're at, God will meet you there. So if you want to have and listen, I want you to see this visual. Wherever you're at, God will meet you there. If you want to talk to God sometime, he'll talk to you sometimes. If you want to talk to God once a year, he'll talk to you once a year. No problem. I love how God kind of works because he doesn't force himself in. And even when you're not rolling with him and you're not trying to seek him, he still loves you. The principles that he's put in place, they still are going to affect you in a powerful way. And isn't that amazing? I mean, come on, how many people do you have in your life where you don't love them, but they still love you back? They still look after you. They still want the best for you, and you don't even mention their name. You don't even proclaim them. See, that's nothing but God, right? So what I love about God is God does not force his way into our lives. Again, freedom of choice. He waits. He knocks and knocks and knocks and knocks at the door of our lives via different situations, and he waits for us to open the door. He waits for us to open the door. Now, the point I'm making here, this is the year of big steps. Are you with me? Stay with the call. Don't get lost. Big steps. And my question to you, are you ready to graduate from a baby relationship to the next level in your relationship? Are you ready to go to the next level in your relationship with your faith? I'm not telling you to pick a religion. I said relationship. Are you ready to get deeper with this thing? Now, for me, I have said yes to that question because, and let me be honest with you, why did I decide some years ago here to take a bigger step with my faith? And I'm going to be honest and be real with y'all like I always am. Because I have had some success in my life, and some of you that know me by some of the achievements that I've, been able to have, you may consider that big success, some of the things that you may know me for those of you that do know and have followed me for a while. However, though, when I look at my life and I look at how big God is and how much yet I still have left to do and how much I still have left inside of me, I don't feel like I've done much at all. I don't feel like I've done hardly anything in comparison to how big God is. So I got to a point in my life, and you may be at this point, you may not, and that's fine. Okay? But I got to a point in my life where I wanted more out of my life, but the more that I wanted, it was beyond my reach. In other words, it was multifaceted in order for me to achieve this and to achieve that and to do this and all these things that I have listed that I must do. I could not do that within my own strength. I needed resources. I needed help. I needed guidance. I needed comfort. I needed wisdom. I need. And I got to a point where man is so flawed. Man and woman is so flawed. We all are. None of us are perfect, not even myself. And the manipulation out there in the world today is so strong. Somebody write that down. Somebody write that down. Somebody write that down. The manipulation out there in the world today is so gangster. It's so strong. It's so vicious. As the girl said, the manip game is strong today. The manip game, the manipulation of humans, men and women, boys and girls, is strong. And we know this because it comes from Satan, and Satan is the father of lies. But, if you started lying 2,000 years ago, and here we are 2,000 years forward, the lie game is going to get better and better and better and better. Anything you do over and over and over and over again, you're going to get better at it. That's a principle. So what I'm saying is, I got to a point in my life where I had just come to the resolve that God was with me in my prior success, and he was with you whether you acknowledge it or not, because God gave us the ability to be successful, no matter what your job or business was. And I acknowledged God in my prior successes, of course. But I was at a point where I wanted more. And the only way I could get more, I had to get on the floor on bended knee, and I had to say, Lord, I'm ready. I want to have a deeper relationship with you. Now, understand, when I did this, there was nobody around me. My mother, there was my family. There was nobody around me. I didn't make any public announcements. I'm going before the Lord today. I'm going to the Lord to get a deeper. No, there's no public announcements. It's a private thing. But I just got to the point, that's where I was. I wanted more. And I said, you know what, Lord, if you can help David defeat Goliath, if you can deliver the Hebrew boys from the burning fire, if you can spit Jonah out of the whale's mouth, if you can help Jesus feed a multitude of 5,000 with 2 loaves of bread and a fish, if you can help Moses part the Red Sea, if you can all of a sudden, heal the woman with the issue of blood, if you can fulfill the promise that you told to Joseph that he would be what you told him he was, even though he went through everything and he still ended up exactly where you said he was going to be. If you can do all of these things, I saw what you did for my grandfather. I saw what you did for my grandmother. I saw what you did for my mother. I saw. And I said, well, Lord, hold on. Hold it right there. I want to know more about how this works. No. That's what you did for my mama. That's good. That's what you did for my daddy. That's good. But I'm a little different than my mama. And I'm a little different than my daddy. You see, Lord, I'm aggressive. But I'm sure that's not a surprise to you, right? I'm sure you know that I'm aggressive because you're the one that created me and put this aggression inside of me. Lord, you know I'm the guy that, I want to jump off the cliffs of life, and I want to try things, and some of the things I shouldn't have been trying, but I did it anyway. You know, none of this is a surprise to you. You know how I am. And like I said before, God waits. He waits. And I was at the point where I wanted to take bigger steps with my faith. Because I want to know, are you just a God of yesteryear? You worked back then, but you won't work right now. You delivered folks back then, but you won't deliver folks right now. You produced miracles back then, but will you still do miracles right now? You provided reconciliation and recompense back then, but are you still in the same business, or have you changed? You told us that we could call you at any time. You were a right now and present God. That's what your word says. I want to test your word. My question to all of you, are you ready to take big steps with your faith? It's just a question. Some of you are going to say yes. Some of you are going to say no. I'm still asking the question. Because this is the year of big steps. That's what it is. What do you think the title means when we say every Sunday, this is the year of intentional faith with healthy habits? It is intentional faith. Remember we talked about you need to place your faith upon something, and I'm sure whatever you're putting your faith on, it ain't small. I'm sure it's probably most likely big. And here it is. We're talking about, notice what we say, the year of intentional faith and healthy habits. In other words, you got to have a habit, because faith without works is absolutely dead, right? So now, today we're talking about big steps. And notice what we've done thus far. We've talked about your health. Big steps there. Are you going to take them? We've talked about your spirituality, your faith. Big steps awaiting for you here. Are you going to take them? Let me give you a short testimony. I cannot and I will not give all the details about such matter, but I will tell you, 4 years ago, I decided to take bigger steps with my faith. And I decided to apply, or let me say this, say yes to a very, very large vision that God has for my life. And to all of you that are listening, God has a purpose for you. All of you that are listening, God has, look, you may be a wonderful barber. You may be a wonderful dentist. You may be a wonderful nurse. You may be a wonderful doctor. You may be a wonderful saleswoman or salesman, or you may be a wonderful business owner, or whatever it is you do, a government employee, a mail lady, whatever it is you do, tech person. You can be good at a lot of things, but one of the biggest mistakes in life is to become good at something that's really not your purpose. In other words, there won't be any lost time, but it's frustrating to humanity, to human beings, when we become so good at something that this is, yes, I'm good at this, but is this really all there is, says your spirit? Is this all there is to my life? But that's why I'm asking you on today, are you ready to take big steps with your faith? Are you ready to get in a deeper relationship? Are you ready to go to the next level? And next level in understanding. The Bible talks about He wants us to prosper both in health and wealth, but according to the renewing of our mind. When you say renew something, that means I got to go from ignorant, which means not knowing, into the light, which means knowing. Hello, that's called maturity. I've got to mature, but maturity has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with choice and timing. You know how you women are. Come on, don't leave me in the dark right now. I wish this man would grow up. You hear that in every culture. You hear it all over the world. I wish that boy would finally become a man and grow up. Well, listen, it was Paul who said it in the Bible. When I was a boy, when I was a child, I thought like a child. I acted like a child. But when I became a man, I put foolish things away. Now, hold it, ladies, hold it. You don't get to dictate the time, the age when somebody should grow up. Now, I know most women, not all, by statistics, what they say, studies show that most women, most of the time, not all, are a little bit more mature than most men. They grow up faster. But the point of the story that I'm making to you is maturity is something you can't put an age on it. It happens when the person is ready for it to happen. You know what? My mama says it best. Let me just summarize it and we're going to move on. She says, everything that man is and everything that woman is and everything that man and woman ever will become, they must discover it for themselves. You hear that? They must discover it. So we're talking about free choice. We're talking about maturity. My question to you, real simple. Are you ready to take big steps? Are you ready? Are you ready? So we've talked about those two areas of life. Now let's go on down the road here. We've talked about health. We've talked about spirituality. Now let's talk about, and this is a tough one, let's talk about relationships. Look, I am not here to tell you who you should marry, who you divorce. I'm not inferring that. I'm not telling you you need to go start swiping to your left or swipe to your right. I'm not interested in all that. What I'm talking about is something very profound, and I dare you to pay attention. When God created man and woman, he created us to need one another. He created us to solve problems together. He created us to complete one another. Remember, you know the story. Don't get me fired up here. You know how it went. He created man first, ladies, and then he saw, okay, wait a minute. He saw that God saw that he was enough for man, but what he saw is that man was not enough. What God saw, God saw that man was enough for God, but God was not enough for man. So what he did is he created a woman, gave her different gifts, different abilities, and they need each other. Now hold it. The whole world we're talking about has men and women, boys and girls. Now, God is the one that created us to need one another. That's what he did. Now, I know it sounds real pretty, doesn't it? And yet and still here we are in 2024 and it's complicated. Why? Because the woman's got her list of what she requires and the man's got his list of what he requires. And everybody's showing up to this party called a date with these lists. Oh, yeah, that's real. We all got these lists. And if you don't meet my list requirements, you ain't the one. Look, and I'm not going to get in your business about your list. I'm not going to get in your business. What I'm saying to you, though, relationships is a very, very tough topic. But I'm not just talking about a relationship with a man or a woman. The first relationship that I'm talking about is your relationship with yourself, your relationship with God. If you would actually decide to go to the next level in your relationship with God, listen to me, young woman. Listen to me, boss chick. Listen to me. Oh, you're supposed to be a tough dude or whoever you are, a gangster dude, or you're supposed to be, an alpha male. I'm talking right at you. Come on, this is me and you. I'm talking to both of you. If you really are who you proclaim to be, then let's just use some simple common sense. When you go to the next level in your faith with God about relationships, some of that stuff that you have on your list, that you put on the list, when you dare get into a relationship with God on a deeper level, he's going to reveal some things to you about you and your list. Now, look, ain't nobody tripping at you. Ain't nobody upset with you for what's on your list. We all got a list. But listen to me and write this down. What is on your list of requirements of what you want, desire, need, etc., is all relative to the level of maturity of where you stand today. So in other words, if you were to ask me to look at my list when I was in high school, my list was probably different then than what it would be today. What's the difference? Maturity. When you get serious or want to go to the next level in your faith, things are going to be revealed to you about you. See, a lot of times, my partner this, my partner that. Look here, I know, I've heard it a lot. Everybody says, my partner, if my partner, if my kid, if my so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so would just act right. And you know how the story goes. Every time you point at other people, there's three fingers pointing right back at you. That's why the first relationship you need to encounter and is the relationship between you and God, so that you can have a proper understanding of the word peace. You can have a proper understanding of the word union. You can have a proper understanding of the word submission. You can have a proper understanding. Because if you let the world teach you, the world is screwed up. You got this side telling you that, and you got this side telling you this. No wonder why we confuse. And this is why I'm telling you, are you ready to go to the next level and take big steps in your relationship? Again, listen to my preface. I am not telling you who to choose. Don't you get off this call and say, you know what? I had a call today with this guy, Romacio, and he said, you know what? I should take big steps. So you know what? I'm tired of messing around. Let's do it. Come on, girl. Let's get married. Come on, man. Let's get married. I'm taking big steps. Let's do it. I didn't say that, because what I'm telling you, you still need wise counsel. But the decision to move forward in your life is internal. It's not external. You don't need to go tell anybody, I'm going to take big steps, baby. Oh, yeah, I'm about to take some big steps now. You don't got to do all that. It's an internal conversation within yourself. And for some of you, a big step could be to stay in a relationship. I don't know. I don't know. Some people, they just leave the moment a fly shows up. They leave. I'm out. I don't like flies. And so a big step is relative to each person. So please, this is not a one-size-fits-all conversation. This is a prompting to get you to understand that this is the year of big steps. Move in your spirit. Move with deeper questions. Move with deeper understanding. And move with action. Right? Move. Old school song by, some of y'all may not remember, Sir Mix-a-Lot. Move something. I remember that song. Move. Right? Okay, so again, that's the third area. We talked about now spirituality. We talked about health. We talked about relationships. Are you ready to actually take big steps in that area? And again, when we talk about relationships, this is all relationships. Relationships with your children, your friends, your colleagues. Relationships are the currency of life. Relationships. Some of you, to be honest, you think all I'm talking about is who you in love with. That's not all I'm talking about. That's about 15% of what I mean when I talk about relationship. What I'm talking about is for you to get the best out of your life, you're going to have to get in relationships, whether they're with colleagues that you work with, whether they're with colleagues that you do business with. You're going to have to get in relationships with people. I'm so fortunate God has blessed me to be able to. I do care about people. I love people. I do. I'm not going to say no names because they'd shoot me. But some people I know, they don't like talking to people. And that's fine. That's just everybody different. They don't like talking to people. Some people I know, they want to be left alone. They don't want no person. It's just the way it is. Nothing's wrong with them. It's just their personal preference. Me, I'm an extrovert. I love people. Hey, what's going on, Johnny? Hey, what's going on, Sarah? What's going on? How's the family? What's happening? I like people. I don't know what it is. It's just me. It's just my thing. But not everybody like me. Okay? But what I have learned is that people are life's most valuable commodity. Because people will take you anywhere you want to go. Do you realize when favor comes on your life, when you have favor in your life, and if you start saying that you have it, guess what? You got it. The favor shows up by allowing you to have access to people, allowing you to get in rooms and get with people and get involved in conversations and topics that normally you wouldn't have been able to do. And remember, what did I tell you in the very beginning? That God created man and woman to need one another. That's why every time we do this call, we always say, even though we don't charge anybody to be here, we always say, what we make happen for others, God will make it happen for us. Because it's a principle of the law of servitude. If you go out there and get in a relationship and serve somebody and help solve somebody else's problems in life, God privately knows what your issues are. He knows what your desires are. He knows what it is you want. God is going to make it happen for you. So in other words, let me give you a visual. You go help Sarah with something because you have the solution for what Sarah's struggling with. And then David comes over here and blesses you with something that you privately been dreaming about or privately been trying to get done. Do you see how that works? It's a circular situation. Write it down. It's a circular economy. A circular goes in a circle. You help them, somebody helps you. You help them, somebody helps you. What we make happen for others, God will make it happen for you. All right? So, what we're talking about here, are you ready to take big steps? Now, I want to go a little bit further. For some of you, big steps in relationships could mean stop hanging around all white people. Stop hanging around all introverts. Stop hanging around all extroverts. Stop hanging around all black people. Stop hanging around all brown people. Stop hanging around all Christians. Stop hanging around all Catholics. Stop hanging around all doctors. Are you ready to take big steps? Are you ready to take big steps? Some of you may or may not know this. I'll give you a quick story about a big step on this topic that we're talking about. In the Bible, most of you know the name Peter. I'm going to keep it short. Many of you probably don't know the name Cornelius. Peter was a very devout man to his faith. Very devout. He tried to follow all the rules. He tried to do everything right. He tried. And there was a gentleman named Cornelius. Cornelius was a very, very wealthy man. He was a man of prestige. He was a man that had a lot of power. But he wasn't really serious with his faith. But he just happened to be a good person. He was a good man. But he wasn't, you know what I mean? He wasn't serious about his faith. I mean, he wasn't against God, but he wasn't seeking after God. But he had a lot of money. He was a very generous man. He was a big giver. and he had a lot of prestige and influence, specifically with the Hebrew nation. Long story short, long story short, one day God told Peter to take a big step. Come on, boys. On the same day, God told Cornelius to take a big step. They both had a dream. They both had a dream privately. Cornelius and Peter had never met up until this day. They had never met each other because Peter didn't hang around people who were not devout in their faith. He didn't hang around people who drank alcohol and basically, for lack of better words, were of a different tribe than him. And Cornelius, he had so much money and he was so well off, he had his own horses, his own chariots, his own army. So he wouldn't hang around people that were basic, normal, regular folk, common. That wasn't his thing. But both of them privately had a dream. And in layman's terms, in the dream, God told Cornelius to take a big step. He said, I want you to invite Peter over to your house. Now, mind you, Cornelius has this huge house. And then also, Peter had a dream, and God told Peter, I want you to go to Cornelius' house. Peter was really complexed. He was confused. Lord, I don't hang out with those types of people. But nevertheless, because you said you want me to go, I will take the big step, says Peter. Cornelius, on the other hand, Lord, I don't invite Peter. That's strange. Why would I ever invite Peter to my house? So here you have two men. Come on, man, tell a story. You had two men that are now coming together to meet at Cornelius' house, and neither one of them knows why they took the big step to do something different that they would never do, to hang around a different person that they would never hang around. They represented two totally separate worlds. Peter, his mission at the time was to teach everyone about the Holy Spirit. That was his mission. He was to teach everyone that would listen about the Holy Spirit. Cornelius, on the other hand, he loved to party. He loved to throw big events and have big parties. That's what he did. He loved to throw big parties. Sounds like a fun guy, actually, right? He loved to throw parties. But here they are today. They both are together at the door, at the doorway. Somebody write that down. They're both, I want you to imagine this picture. You got two men, don't know each other. Both of them are powerful in their own right, but they never, ever hang out because they represent two different philosophies. They represent two different cultures. But God told them to meet. And they're at the door. There Peter is at the door of Cornelius' mansion. And they're face to face, and the long story short, Peter didn't know why he was there, and Cornelius didn't know why he invited them. But something powerful is about to take place. An expansion is about to occur because both of the men were obedient. Hello, is anybody listening to me today? Both of the men were obedient. Didn't know why they were supposed to obey, but they were obedient. And here they are at the doorway, face to face. And an expansion is about to occur. Well, they're at the doorway, and the moment the door opened, Peter, I just told you, his mission was to tell everybody about the Holy Spirit. That was his mission. Cornelius, on the other hand, his mission was to throw a party. That's what he does. He's a party animal. And so God used Cornelius to do what he does, throw a big party. And on this day, there were some 500 people inside Cornelius' house. And all of these people were Hebrews of a different tribe. And Peter shows up, and he's supposed to do what he does. So Cornelius did what he does and threw a big party. Peter is at the doorway, scratching his head, why am I here? And Peter just starts doing what he does. And what Peter does is he started to tell Cornelius about the Holy Spirit. And in the process of Peter doing what he does, all of a sudden, all of the people inside the house began to start speaking in tongues, and the Holy Spirit fell on them. Now, I know to some of you, you might think this is kind of strange. This is a true story. And next thing you know, because of Peter coming to the door of Cornelius, and Cornelius coming to the door to meet Peter, an expansion occurred. And this was the first time where all of a sudden now, Peter had begun to speak, and the Holy Spirit fell on a whole different tribe of people, and it began to expand throughout the Hebrew nation. My question to you, are you ready for expansion? That's why this is the year of big steps. Had Peter not been obedient, number one. Number two, had Peter not taken the big step to go to Cornelius' house. Point number three, had Cornelius not been obedient to God told him to invite Peter to the party, and had Cornelius not opened the door when Peter arrived. So both men had to be obedient. Point number one, if you're taking notes. Point number two, here's the home run point. Both men took big steps. 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 And an expansion erupted all over the world and has never been the same since, because one man decided to obey God, and one man decided to also take big steps. Ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about the health area. Are you ready to take big steps? We've talked about the spirituality area. Are you ready to take big steps? Now, we've talked about the actual relationship area. Are you ready to take big steps? Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the money area. We're going to talk about your profession. We're going to talk about your business. We're going to talk about, do you know money is so dear to God's heart? Do you know how many times money is mentioned in the Bible? It says clear as day, you've heard this 1,000 times, money is the answer to all things. Anything that's a thing, T-H-I-N-G, money is the answer to that thing. Money is the answer to all things. I don't care if you like what I'm saying or if your nose is frowning and you're upset. I'm telling you the facts. Money, baby, is the answer to all things. And God cares about your money situation. And I'm telling you, are you ready to take big steps with your money situation? What does that mean? I know you've been skilled to carry mail. I know you've been babysitting for 30 years. I know that you've been in the medical field for 15 years. I know that you're a craftsman and you're a contractor and you're a tech person and you're a psychologist and you're a hustler. You know what I mean? I know you're a salesperson. I know. You are who you are. And you probably, in your mind, you're saying, but Romacio, what it is that I do for a living just don't pay at the same rate that inflation is happening in America. I know. That's why this call is so powerful. It's the year of big steps. All you have to do is make a decision and say that there's got to be more for me. Get on your hands and knees. Lord, this is me, your child. You said I could come to you and ask you anything. Lord, I come to you wholeheartedly. I come to you ignorant, Lord. I don't know what I don't know. I come before the King of Kings. Humble myself before you. I know that you have great things for me. And all I ask is one prayer, Lord. You told me in your word, you need to write this down, that the gifts that you gave me, you would make room in this world for my gifts. You told me in your word that the gift, and this, if you don't, I'm talking slow because I want you to write this down. Hello. You told me in your word that the gift that you gave to me, you said you would make room in this world for my gift. And you also said you wanted me to prosper and have good success. Now, first thing, let me say it one more time. Lord, you said the gift that you gave to me, you would make room in this world for my gift. Number two, you also said you wanted me to prosper and have good success. That's what you said. Okay? I want you to include these two statements that I just gave you in your prayer, and I want you to be sincere about it. Lord, here I am. I'm asking you to reveal to me, how am I to use the gift that you gave me? How can I better use? How can I be a better steward over the gift that you've given me? Now, you need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm telling you, watch your mind now, watch your mind, watch your mind. You have to accept, I don't care if you're smoking crack right now, I want you to know God has given you a gift. That's a promise. God didn't only give gifts to Latinos. He didn't only give gifts to Christian folk, Muslim folk, heathens, Catholic folks. He gave a gift to every single child of his, which includes your name. You have a gift. You've probably never taken the time to discover what it is. You've been so busy out there in the world, just doing what you got to do to survive, that you didn't take time to discover what's your gift. What's your gift? Your gift. You got to get a revelation about what's your gifting. I'll tell you something. Let me give you a secret. Newsflash. Most likely it's something that you've been overlooking for a long time. You see, when God begins to do a mighty work inside of you or I, write this down, this is a fact, he always starts with something you already have. My God, my God, my God. Anytime God is ready to do something huge, something big, anytime he's ready to go ahead and, and as they say, a setback is nothing more than a setup for a comeback. Anytime he's ready to take you to the next level, he's always going to start with something that he's already given you. If I had more time, we would dive so deep into this. I promise every single one of you to get off the call would be jumping up and down as a believer, like, yes, you'd be so fired up if I had more time with you today on that topic alone. Just take me at my word, write it down. I don't care how messed up situations may be. I don't care if you broke, middle class, rich. I don't care. I'm telling you what the man said. And he doesn't lie. You have a gift, but you've got to discover what it is. You got to discover what it is. You got to discover what it is. And my spirit tells me you've been overlooking it. Just like I used to. Many, many years ago, I was so enthralled with wanting to be Michael Jordan. And I wanted to be 6'6", and I wanted to be all these ones. And nothing wrong with having dreams, but God got plans. God got plans for you. And I thought that what I wanted was bigger than God's plans for my life. I was wrong. That's why when I was 42, that's years old, that's when I decided to say, okay, Lord, what you got for me? What you got for me? Give me a vision. Give me a vision. I'm telling you, David defeated Goliath. You know the story, but only because David was given the gift of fighting. He was a warrior ever since he was a little bitty baby. It was a gift. You have to discover what your gift is. God made a promise to you. He made a promise that he would make room in this world for your gift. So once you discover what it is, God, then you have to ask. The Bible, Habakkuk 2:2, Habakkuk 2:2, Habakkuk 2:2, Habakkuk 2:2. You have not because you ask not. You have not because you ask not. You have not because you ask not. Knock, and the door will be open. Knock, knock, knock. So you got to ask, baby. ASK, write it down. God, 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 help me discover what you have for me. Just ask him. God never said that, oh, you have to be my favorite child and live perfect in order for me to reveal your gift to you. God is so cool. He's so amazing. He's so awesome. He never said all that. He's a just God. Just. What he will do for one man or woman, he will do for another. There's nobody perfect. Not your mama, not you, not your daddy. So whatever side you on, the red side, the blue side, they all screwed up. Ain't nobody perfect. But I'm talking right to you, saying to you, discover what your gift is right now. Don't let another day go by without you knowing what your gift is, what you supposed. It's a horrible thing to live this life, make some money, have kids, get married, become successful at something that's not even your gift. Oh, that just hurts me to say it. It hurts. But all because I was afraid, ignorant, scared to have a conversation with a man I can't even see, but a man that loves me more than I love myself, the man that made way for me more than I could ever even think to make way of. He's got all these blessings and promises in store for me that are real. And he doesn't put them with all these contingencies. Well, if you do this, then I'll do that. That's not the way he sets it up. But he still wants you to be successful. He still wants you to thrive. All just to prove to you how much he loves you. Man, it's weird. God's love is just amazing, but that's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, my point is this. As we get ready to close this call, we told you this is the year of intentional faith and healthy habits. Today's theme is this is the year of big steps. Big steps. Are you ready to take big steps in your finances? Are you ready to take big steps? A big step to me would be, do you know what your gift is? Have you asked God to reveal to you how are you to get started with your gift? Now listen, don't do this. Don't make this mistake. Don't say, God, tell me all the details. He's not going to tell you that. He's not going to tell you that. We talked about that at the beginning of this call. You're going to have faith. That's why it's the year of what? Intentional what? Faith. But what he will tell you, he will reveal to you, this is your gift. And gifts are given for free. That's why they're called a gift. He gave it to you free of charge, baby. When you was in your mother's womb, he knew what you would be gifted to do. And he's waiting on you to discover your gift so you can start to take some big steps, baby. And as you take big steps, God has got big reveals. Come on, man. As you take big steps, God has got big reveals. I didn't say it was going to be easy. Matter of fact, it's not going to be easy, but it will be rewarding. And I'm not just talking about monetarily reward. I'm talking about maturity reward. I'm talking about revelation, all of a sudden insight reward. I'm talking about, oh my goodness, you're going to go from the dark in a particular subject into the light on a particular subject. You're going to all of a sudden go from ignorant, not knowing, to all of a sudden now you got a PhD at something. Revelation, revelation, revelation. Somebody write down, revelation comes before manifestation. Revelation. Lord, give me a revelation of where I'm at. Give me a revelation of where it is that I struggle and the areas I need to work on. God, give me a revelation of which direction should I pursue. For I am ready to take big steps. I'm ready to take. God's not asking you to be perfect. He knows you won't. He's going to be there to comfort you. But you know the one thing he likes, the one thing he shouts and he gets excited about is my child finally decided. My child made the decision. And God says in his word, don't worry about being weak. He says, when you're weak, he's strong. So stop, put your ego aside, gangster. Put your ego aside, boss chick. Put your ego aside, playboy. Put it all aside. God is happy that there you are at the throne, humble in your spirit, saying, Lord, I'm ready. Let's go. I'm scared, but I'm going. I'm confused, but I'm going. I'm not sure, but I'm going. He's excited. Why? Because now he can work through you. Because you've given him permission. You've given him permission. And I'm telling you something, write this down and we out of here. Anytime you get God involved in any area of your life, anytime you really get him involved in any area of your life, it's going to be bigger than you think. Yes, it's going to come with a price. Write that down. I want you to quote me right. I want you to quote me right. It's going to come with a price. Just because you look cute don't mean you ain't going to sacrifice, okay? Let's get this together here now. Just because you got big muscles don't mean you ain't going to struggle a little bit. Let's get this right. It's going to come with a sacrifice. But anytime you get God involved in it, it's going to be bigger than you think. It's going to be bigger than you think. Because this is the year of taking big steps. Guys, I'm the California Kid. I love you guys. We'll see you guys all next week. Goodbye, everybody.